Alright, bro, this is how to sleep early. Now, this is actually something I've struggled with for most of my life. Like, not until a couple of months ago, sleeping early was very hard to me. It was impossible for me, right? But now, I sleep every single day at 10 p.m. and wake up every single day at 6:30 a.m. for months now. And I'm telling you, my sleep is the best it has ever been in my entire life, and I sleep early every single day. Now, if I could think of just one habit that fixes literally 90% of all of your problems, one habit, just one habit, it's going to bed early, it's sleeping early, it's going to bed on time. That one habit, that one simple habit fixes 90% of all your problems, your physical, mental, spiritual health. It fixes everything, your mood, your hormones, literally everything in your life gets better when you sleep early. Everything in your life, your focus, your energy, your mood, your testosterone, even your attractiveness, you become even more attractive, your charisma, your social skills, the way you treat people, every single thing in your life gets better when you do this one habit. This habit will literally solve 90% of all your problems, your depression, your anxiety, if you have a bad mood, if your health is bad, right? Everything is fixed through going to bed early. And literally all it takes is just 3 things. Now, the first thing is setting alarms for the time you want to wake up and the time you want to go to sleep. So this is so simple, yet it changed my life. Basically, this is how I literally sleep early, every single day, forever. It's so simple. I just went on my clock app, clicked on it, and I clicked add alarm and set it to 10 p.m. and put that alarm aside, and then clicked add alarm, another alarm, and set it to 6:30 a.m. and made both of those alarms every single day. And simply, when this alarm rings, when the 10 p.m. alarm rings, go to sleep. When this 6:30 a.m. alarm rings, wake up. I know it is so simple, but this is literally what I did, and it changed my life, bro. It literally changed my life. Because we humans, we need order in our lives. We need order in chaos, which is our lives, right? We need order. And these 2 alarms, we need reminders, man. The problem is, most of my life, I used to always live on this, idea of, hey, when 10 p.m. comes, I'm gonna go to sleep. And I would just keep scrolling, and then it would be 12 p.m. or even 1 a.m., right? And I wouldn't go to sleep, and I would just stay up late. And I wouldn't sleep early. But now, because I have this alarm, when it rings, I know, yes, now it's time to go to sleep. I dim the lights, I got everything ready, and I just go to sleep. And basically the core of it all, the core of all of sleep science basically, is waking up early and sleeping early are directly correlated. If you wake up early, you will sleep early. If you sleep early, you will wake up early. It's that simple. Because of a very simple hormone called adenosine. Adenosine is the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. It's the sleepy hormone. It's the hormone that makes you feel tired and exhausted. It makes you feel tired. When you feel like you're just so tired and your eyes just want to close and you feel your body just wants to sleep and relax, that's because your adenosine is high. Okay? Now, adenosine is directly correlated to staying awake. So basically, the more hours you are awake, the higher your adenosine is. So the more you stay awake, the higher your adenosine. So when you wake up early, at 6:30 a.m. for example, you will naturally feel very very at 10 p.m. And I'm telling you this from personal experience, right? When I wake up at 6:30 a.m. and when it's 10 p.m., I'm dying to sleep. I feel really tired and I really want to sleep. Same thing, right? So many people, this is no matter what you want, like if you want to wake up early or you want to sleep early, they are directly correlated, they are directly linked. Like so many people say, hey man, it's so hard for me to sleep at 9 p.m. or wake up at 5 a.m. Okay, just wake up at 5 a.m. And when you wake up at 5 a.m., you will naturally feel very tired at 9 p.m. because you woke up very early. And because the more you wake up, the more hours you are awake, the higher adenosine is, the more sleepy you will feel. You will just naturally sleep you will naturally just sleep early. You will naturally sleep at the time you want to sleep. So that's adenosine. Another thing is that actually when you wake up and you go to sleep at the same time every single day, your circadian rhythm will make you naturally sleepy and tired at bedtime, and focused and energized and ready to conquer your day, when you wake up. Because your circadian rhythm, you basically have an internal biological clock. You have a clock in your brain. You have a clock in your brain, right? That controls your entire body, your entire nervous system. And it signals to your nervous system that, hey, it's time to wake up, hey, it's time to go to sleep. But it works best on consistency. So this is the best advice I can ever give you on sleeping early or anything that comes to sleep. 90% of perfect sleep is just going to bed and waking up at the same time every single day. I promise you, this is the truth. I've listened to Andrew Huberman and Matthew Walker. I've read so many books on sleep. 90% of perfect sleep is just going to bed and waking up at the same time every single day. So to summarize everything I said, when you go to sleep and you wake up at the same time every single day, your circadian rhythm will naturally make you want to sleep at that time and want to wake up at that time, and your adenosine will keep increasing and increasing and increasing, that when it comes time to sleep early, you will feel very, very tired and you will naturally just want to sleep, both making you naturally wanting to sleep early. So the best advice, the most important thing, is going to sleep and waking up at the same time every single day. Now the second thing is self-improvement habits. Now I want you to imagine with me, right? Just visualize with me two guys, right? You have one guy, he wakes up and the first thing he does is he gets morning sunlight. And when he finishes that, he goes on and takes a cold shower. And then he meditates and journals for 1 hour. And then, he works on his business, or he works on, his schoolwork or any work, right? And then he exercises for 2 hours. He does a hard, heavy workout, or maybe he does a martial art or boxing or something like that, or maybe he even does stretching and yoga. He does some exercise. And then he reads for hours. At the end of the day, this guy will just feel so tired and will naturally want to sleep early because he did so many things in his day. But let's visualize another guy, and this person, he wakes up and the first thing he does is he opens his phone in bed and just scrolls on his phone. And he keeps scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And because he's horny and his testosterone is surging, he opens Pornhub and he jacks off. And for hours and hours and hours, he's just gooning and gooning and gooning, right? And then he finishes it and he goes on to play video games for hours, and he calls his friends and he plays video games for hours and hours and hours. He doesn't even brush his teeth, he doesn't even take a cold shower, he just does everything wrong. And then he eats a very, very condensed, processed, full of junk food meal. And then he scrolls on social media again and again and again. This guy will stay up late. Of course he will. Because, if we think about it, these are very, very new inventions. Even light, artificial light is a very new invention. It was created in the 1800s. I think by Thomas Edison, but some people say it was by Nikola Tesla, whatever, right? But it was created in the 1800s, and it's a very new invention. It's 200 years old. right? So this invention of light is very new, evolutionarily speaking, right? Because humans are 200, even 300,000 years old. Like, we are very, very ancient creatures, right? And all we lived on was sunlight, and when the sun came down, we went to sleep. We didn't have these, artificial lights. We didn't have these, video games and these stimulating, porn and junk food and video games and all these, bad habits. And these things, they inhibit your melatonin. Melatonin, basically, you have like the two core sleep hormones: adenosine, which is the hormone that makes you feel sleepy, and melatonin is the hormone that signals to your body that it's time to go to sleep, is inhibited by these bad habits. Because these bad habits, the incentive of these, evil companies that create these, create video games, create social media, etc. The incentive is, hey, we want to make as much money as possible, so we will make you as addicted as possible, and we need your attention as much as possible. So they don't care if you stay awake for hours and hours and hours. They don't care about that. They don't care. They don't care. All they care about is profit. But anyways, this guy will have very, very good sleep, will have like nearly perfect sleep because of all of the good habits he did, and this guy will have terrible sleep and he'll stay up late, and even if he sleeps, the quality of his sleep will be just terrible, right? So these 5 habits, these 5 self-improvement habits, literally 100x my sleep. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, like made my sleep just so good. And they are meditation, journaling, work, having purposeful work, working out or yoga or boxing, and reading. Those 5 habits, like literally 100x my sleep. I'm not even exaggerating, made my sleep 100 times better than when I was doing all the bad habits. I'm telling you, bro, like, when I wake up at like 6:30 a.m., which is when I wake up every day, and I meditate, I journal, I work out, I work on this business, I work on content, I do my schoolwork, I read for like 3 hours. When I finish my day, I just feel so tired, and I just naturally just want to sleep, because I've been awake for 15 hours, right, from 6:30 till 10 p.m. 15 and a half or 16 hours. And I've done all these habits which improve the quality of my sleep and naturally make me want to sleep, right? So yeah, self-improvement habits are a game changer, bro. So literally, like, those 2 things, like staying awake for, let's say, 15 to 17 hours, having like very, very high adenosine, which will give you like very, very high adenosine, and doing like productive self-improvement, masculine, goal-focused habits like meditation, journaling, working out, reading, all these good habits. These 2 things are literally like 90 to 95% of having perfect sleep and sleeping early. These are like 95% of sleeping early. But the third thing, which will give you like literally perfect sleep, will give like 100% of perfect sleep, is morning sunlight, getting sunlight in the morning, and darkness at night. So let me explain this. So if we think about this, bro, like 100,000, 200,000 years ago, we always woke up when there was sunlight, outside, when, the sun came out. That's when we woke up. We didn't have, LED lights or artificial lights or anything to wake us up, or alarms or any of that. We just woke up with the sun. We weren't in these like confined buildings and all these, cars that get us like barely any sunlight and are destroying our health. We just woke up with the sunlight. And same thing with sleeping. When it was night, when it was, pitch black and dark, we didn't have any light at that time at all, and it was very cold, that's when we slept. So naturally, our biology is perfectly attuned to sunlight and darkness. So basically, what that means is we need to signal to our body that hey, it's time to wake up through morning sunlight, and hey, it's time to go to sleep through darkness. So let's take each one step by step. So I'll start with morning sunlight. Morning sunlight, bro, is so beneficial for us as humans. It is so beneficial. Like if you've heard Andrew Huberman talk about it, it is so beneficial. It improves your focus, your energy, your mood. It optimizes your circadian rhythm. It just makes you ready and energized to go conquer your day, right? And most importantly, is it makes you want to sleep early. It makes you want to sleep at night. Basically, it improves your sleep on that day's night, if that makes sense, right? So if you wake up and the first thing you do, like it has to be like the first thing you do right when you wake up for, let's say, like 10 to 30 minutes. I do it for 15 minutes personally, but the first thing you do, you get sunlight in your eyes for like 15 minutes. When the night comes, your sleep will improve by like 15 to 20%, the quality of your sleep. And that's significant, bro. That's significant. All you did was just 15 minutes of sunlight in the morning. That's all you did. That's life changing. Now, this is how I do it, right? When my alarm rings, my 6:30 a.m., I wake up, I get up, the first thing I do, shut off the alarm, and I put on like a jacket if it's cold, put my watch on to know the time, and just walk to the balcony. I just walk straight to the balcony and get morning sunlight in my eyes for 15 minutes. And sometimes I read a book, sometimes I don't, but generally, yes, most of the time I'm reading like a book in the morning, but at the same time my eyes are getting sunlight while I'm reading. You can do it whatever way you want, right? But the key is just getting 10 to even 30 minutes of morning sunlight every day, like right when you wake up, all right? So that's morning sunlight. Night darkness, getting darkness at night is also very beneficial for us as humans. It's as beneficial as getting morning sunlight. It makes you relax, it calms you, it increases your melatonin, signaling that it's time to go to sleep. And most importantly, it also increases your melatonin, but also it signals to your circadian rhythm that, hey, it's time to go to sleep. And the way I get darkness at night is 30 minutes before 10 p.m. So at 9:30 p.m. I put on this little night light. So I turn off all the lights and all I have is this little small light that's giving me light. And when 10 p.m. comes, when the 10 p.m. alarm rings, I dismiss it, get my clothes ready for the next day and brush my teeth and pray and do all these things, and I put on an eye mask going to sleep. And this is so beneficial for me personally, and it's so good for you because it blocks out all the light, like when there's light like under the door and there's like light coming out from outside, there's always like a little bit of light, artificial light, that's so annoying. This eye mask just makes you unsee everything. It just makes you see pitch black darkness, which is what we need to maximize melatonin and have deep quality sleep. Now, a pro tip with this is making your room cold. So if it's summer, turning on the AC. If it's winter, I open the windows. That's personally how I do it. Just making the room cold, because it's also one of the key things that increases melatonin, right? Along with having a dark room. So basically, when we need to go to sleep, all we need to do is just making a room dark and cold. That's it. All right. So scientifically, what morning sunlight and night darkness do is they optimize your circadian rhythm. So let me explain what the circadian rhythm is. Basically, in your brain, you have a clock, an internal biological clock. It's called the circadian rhythm, but you have a clock in your brain, right? I know it's insane, but you do. You have a 24-hour clock. And this clock, it's kind of like a little child, right? You have to tell it that, hey, it's morning, we need to wake up. Hey, it's night, we need to go to sleep, if that makes sense. And this clock, this internal biological clock, is responsible for your entire body, for your entire physiology. So basically, when you get sunlight in the morning, it signals to your body, the 24-hour clock, that, hey, yes, it's the morning, we should wake up. So it makes your entire body ready to wake up and ready, to win the day. And the same thing with night. When it's dark and when it's cold, your 24-hour clock signals to your entire body that, hey, it's time to go to sleep. And the circadian rhythm is responsible for so many things, for your hormones, for the melatonin and the adenosine, for cortisol as well when you wake up. It's responsible for so many things, but like I said, it's like a little child. You have to tell it that now it's morning, so getting sunlight, and now it's night, so getting darkness. And again, it works best on consistency. Like I said a while ago, it works best on consistency. So when you wake up early and you go to sleep at the same time every single day, that's when it works best. That's when the circadian rhythm works best. So that's basically how the circadian rhythm, the internal biological clock, works. All right. So basically what we're trying to do is just signaling to your body that, hey, it's time to wake up, and hey, it's time to go to sleep. That's it, with these two things. So I know I said like a lot of things in this video, but the best and the fastest way to sleeping early forever is this. The first thing is staying awake for 14 till 17 hours to maximize adenosine and sleep pressure, to naturally be tired and sleepy and sleep early. So that's the first thing, staying awake for 14 to 17 hours. The second thing is having a productive day of self-improvement, meditating, journaling, working out, reading, doing all these productive habits. And the third thing is getting morning light and getting darkness at night. Yeah, that's how I sleep early. Right? I hope this full guide helped you. Yeah, and as always, we're in this together, and we will make it.